if you ever train with somebody and if they're like brand new, you're having trouble sweeping them, and you say, "Hey, did you ever wrestle?" Because like they're like a cat. Every time you flip them over, it's like there's, you know, their hips turn over automatically. You have a nightmare time trying to sweep them. And you also hear like sometimes wrestlers say, or you might say to somebody, "Oh man, they've got really good hips." This is what they mean. Like, they've got really good hips. They're really good at just like understanding how to move their hips in a way, you know, offensive and defensive manner that just makes them really hard to deal with. Okay, it could be a sprawling motion, but a lot of times it's this kind of inability to put their back flat on the mat, and that's wrestling. Like, what are you trying to do? How do you lose in wrestling? Your back gets pinned to the mat. So like the whole idea in wrestling is to be really good at this. Like, there's more to it for sure, but like a big concept of wrestling is don't get your hips flipped over like that and pinned to the mat. So wrestlers are really, really good at this, and that's why they're really hard to sweep in no gi, but then also can be hard to sweep in gi. If you have really good grips and you understand that grip battle, then you can finish the sweep. But you should be that person who has really good hips. Okay, so we're gonna just finish with the counter to the inability to get the sweep, or you start getting the sweep and someone gets, you know, does the hip heist on you, go into the cross collar choke. Okay. Sometimes I go, if you know loop chokes, often miss scissor sweep. I go to a loop choke. It just depends on the depth of my grip. Sometimes I know, like you gotta know, just someone who have good hips, is like you anticipate the hip heist and you adjust your grip accordingly to counter with a certain choke. So I have I've trained with Jordan before, and I know like he can be hard to sweep, or he's got a good hip heist, or he's just even hard to off balance. So I can use the scissor sweep and then go back to the cross collar choke. Use it as a setup. So open that collar up. The important thing here is that when you're attacking your scissor sweep, if you want a cross collar choke to be a secondary option, you have to set your hand in the place you know, that's going to allow you to choke them. So it needs to be, you know, nice and deep right behind the trap, and I need to turn my thumb so that the blade of my forearm is in his neck. Okay. So when I go to sweep, maybe I get here, I just can't really move him because he dropped back on his heels. Come back. He goes forward. I go to sweep, he kind of drops back on his heels, or maybe he sprawls back a bit. And I just feel like I can't move him. What I'm going to do is kick my right leg back through and pull myself at an angle. This hand is going to come over the top and grab the fabric here that builds up right above the shoulder. Okay. If you have time or the collar's open, you can slip your thumb inside the collar. But in this situation, have a palm up, palm down cross collar choke. So this hand comes over the top and grips that fabric behind the shoulder, or thumb slides in. Either way, I want the blade of my forearms on each side of his neck cutting into the carotid arteries. From there, my hands are going to throttle. Okay? My right hand's kind of throttling down facing me, the other one's going the opposite direction. And I'm pulling my forearms close to each other like this, pinching in on the neck. Finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a little sit-up and use my back muscles to pull him towards me. I want to close the distance between my chest and his chest. Okay? And I want my elbows to kind of trace the outsides of my rib cage. So without doing the scissor sweep first, and when you guys go back and drill, just do a few without the scissor sweep, and then use the scissor sweep as a setup. Okay, so the blade of the forearm is right against the neck. My thumb knuckle is almost touching his spine back here. Okay, the other hand's setting so that my pinky can almost touch my thumb in the back. Okay. Get a nice grip on the fabric, and now bring the elbows down and in, sitting up, using my back muscles to pull in this fashion here. Okay. So again, set that first grip nice and deep, not too shallow down here. Second grip, get some angle. I won't be able to reach if I don't get angle. Get my head on the opposite side. Here, catch a nice grip, and a little sit up and pull. Notice my angle here. So maybe I go for the scissor sweep, I miss, I pull myself around to the other side, reset my closed guard, and Finish that cross collar choke. Palm up, palm down version. 1, 2.